Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at Distilled. I'm going to show you how it plays from a solo standpoint, show you a round or so, and then tell you what I think about it. Let's get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you have, I really appreciate the support. So let me go ahead and show you what's going on. First of all, I'm starting round 3, so I've just barely kind of gotten things off to the ground in this game. There are 7 rounds you're playing for, and the whole point of the solo game is you're trying to accomplish one goal from each of these rows, okay, and exceed the number, which would be your A goal and your B goal, whichever you did. So you have to exceed that in points, which usually is somewhere between, 70 and 80 or something like that. And you got to do all these different goals. Now, these goals are very varied, in the situation. Like, for instance, to start off, I either have to earn $8 or more in a round, or I have to distill my signature recipe. Once I do this, it's going to flip over and unlock 2 goals over here that I can't see yet. And it's going to give me something else to work for the next round. I can, if these are too difficult, use this one-time only swap goal where I can swap one goal from another in case I get kind of stuck. And I haven't actually unlocked anything yet because the hope was I was going to try to distill my signature recipe, which is over here. Now, signature recipes have to do with the player card you decide to start with in the beginning of the game. They come with a signature recipe, and they also come with some special bonus. And that recipe you can only distill once, and it's usually really good, a lot of points, a lot of money. This one is actually pretty hard to do. This is worth 13 points. You need 3 fruit to do it. So that makes doing that probably a long shot, but we'll see what happens. Let me explain the rest of what you've got in front of you. You've got this basic market here, and in the basic market, you can purchase 2 of these cards per round, and only 2. And these are kind of the constituents you're going to need to do minimum distilling regardless of what you're trying to do. And I'll explain what it takes to distill in just a second. Then you have premium items, which have to do with barrels or vessels or things that you finish your spirits in. Could even be things that you will store them in to age them. And also has to do with bottles. So the bottles are a little bit of a set collection, plus they also give you some bonuses and some extra money. Then you have premium ingredients here, which do a variety of different things. Some of them have special abilities. Some of them just give you more points when you actually use them in your distillate to distill your specific alcohols you're working for. And then you have upgrades. These upgrades have to do with either, it all has to do with your distillery, and they're either like specialists or their equipment. And you can only have 3 upgrades during the game. You can have as many of the other things as you want as you go through. A lot of them are once and done usages. Some of them you will use again. Over here, you've got the money. Over here, maybe even off camera a little bit, you have the recipes. So you can purchase these recipes. You have to buy a recipe first before you can actually try to distill it. And then over here, you have all the different things you can distill in this game, all represented on these little cardboard chits. In any game, though, you have a recipe card. And these are the only ones, plus your signature and moonshine and vodka, that you're going to be able to use for the game. They basically take and make an entire variety of representing of different things that you can do. And the card shows the recipe. It shows how much points the base, the actual base material, the base distillate will be when you actually do it, or before any other bonuses or anything like that. And it also shows either it's a bronze, a silver, or a gold type. And as you can think of, bronze and silvers are usually easier to do, less points. Silvers are a little bit more, and then golds are the highest. Okay? Now let me show you the mechanics, because actually the mechanics of this game are fairly straightforward. So every round is going to start with a market phase. And like I said, in the market phase, you can purchase up to 2 of these ingredients from the basic market, and then any number of these that you can afford. I have $6, plus I get $1 off for my market. And what I'm going to try to do, and this might be crazy, is I'm going to try for my signature distillate. So what do I have going on at the beginning? Well, I've got a bunch of mixed fruits, which I'm going to need, plus my dried juniper berries, which also help. I've got this grain, which I cannot use if I want to do it. And then I'm going to need some sources of wheat and water. Well, the alcohol by itself, this is 10% alcohol. I can use that. Did I say wheat? I meant yeast. I can use that as one of those sources. But what I'm really going to try to do is knock this out of the park. And so what I'm going to grab here is I'm going to grab this yeast to be my first one out of the market. That's going to immediately give me $1 when I get it. And then I'm going to get another mixed berry because I'm trying to get as much fruit as I can to accomplish this goal. Okay, because what's going to happen is you'll see here is you always have to discard 2 cards from the top and bottom of your deck as you do your distillate. So you don't necessarily know exactly what you're going to get. So there's a little bit of chance in there. So I'll show you why that's important in a second. Now that costs 2. So she gives me a one money discount. So I'm just going to pay the 1. Now I have 7 more here. Now with the 7 more, I can look and see, are there any other cards that might be able to be helpful in what I'm trying to do or building for the future? I'm locked out of this because I just bought these 2. And I also know that I'm not going to be using a barrel for this right now, so these barrels aren't going to help. However, I might want a vintage decanter bottle to help me score 4 points and generate 2 more money, which is good because if I fail my recipe, maybe I can get the $8 needed to do this one. These not necessarily, except I should say this. This one might be a good choice because I need more cards and I need more alcohol in my my whole situation here. And it might help out. So maybe what I will do is I will spend the 4 to go ahead and get this neutral spirit alcohol, put that in my area, okay? And then anything up here, let's see, there's a ventilator that can help with flavor cards. But the only situation is I'm not worried about flavors at this moment. The bio, this one is nice. So he can help, he will add a basic yeast to my pantry at the beginning of every round. So that's helpful. So let's purchase him, okay? So I'm out of money. And now the way that the solo works is to move the market around, you basically reveal one of these B cards and you discard whatever is shown in there for X's, and that helps keep the market humming, which is a nice mechanic. It definitely gives you plenty of card churn. With all of the the one expansion and the premium, sorry, not the premium, the promo one in here, I'd say I get about a little over a third through the deck each time. So you're not going to nearly see all the cards, but with the churn it helps, okay? So that is the end of the market phase. I've cleaned up. I've done everything I can. Now we go to the distillate phase. So what happens is, in order to distill something, you must have at least 1 card in the yeast area, 1 card in the water area, and then some type of sugar, okay? So I can use this as my water. I have this as my sugar. There's my yeast. Okay, so there's my 3 cards right there. Now the alcohol can go in either or. This was left over from a previous round. I had some distillate there. And I'm gonna put all these other fruits in there too. I'm gonna save this mixed grain. Now for each fruit or source of sugar that I have in my distillate, I get to add additional alcohol to the actual pile. So I get to add 4 more alcohol to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why is that important? Well, it's gonna raise the price. Also, it's gonna help me to hopefully dilute away the special cards I need to be able to make this specific signature recipe, the London Dry Gin, which is what I'm trying to do. So you take these cards after you've decided what you're gonna make, you mix them all up, and then, like any good chemical engineer will know, you distill off the top and discard the bottom right there. And then the rest of these cards are what you're going to keep. So good news, I do have the minimum requirements. Whatever went off the top and bottom comes back into my area here that I can use later. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a barrel of your choice. In this case, I'm going to use the premium barrel because I bought it earlier. That'll help me get some points and some money. And I'm going to show what's in here. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 of those fruits, which I needed, and I'll show you this in a second. Plus all this alcohol, which just helps raise up the price. Okay, so all of this is part of my distillate. Now, my signature recipe says that it must include juniper berries. Well, I got those in there because that was my signature ingredient that I locked earlier in this game. And it needs at least 3 or more fruit. Well, I've got that too. So this whole thing, now that I've done it, I decided to bottle it. I can go ahead and bottle it with this glass bottle. Doesn't do anything special. And then I can move to the sell phase. Well, first I've got to claim it. I don't actually bottle it yet. The bottling would happen. Actually, no, it does. You had the barrel. You had the bottle before you sell it, but it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to evaluate how much this thing is worth, and I'm going to score this, and then I'm going to sell it. Now, at this point, if it was something that I wanted to age, I could age it in a barrel, put it into my warehouse, and start adding flavor cards to it. And the flavor cards add money and points to the actual thing. The longer it goes, the more points they're worth. And so that's good. You want to try to get a couple of these in the cellar to help you earn bigger points, okay? But I've accomplished this goal. So I can cover up any of these remaining things that I have out here. And I think what I'm going to do, what I'm going to cover up, is I'm going to cover up the one that says 1 free item, because I'd like to try to get a, let's see, it would be kind of nice to get a whiskey in my next round, and so I'm going to need a barrel to do that, to age it. So I've done that, and that was free. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go sell this, okay? So the sale, this signature recipe itself is worth $2.13 points. Let's do the points first. That's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points. That's huge. Unfortunately, it would have been maybe better to hold off on that, but whatever, it happened now. So that's 19 points, puts me to 23. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, $12. So that's $12. So we're going to get 10, 11, 12. That was a huge, huge recipe, okay? So we put that back where I had it before, where I said I wanted the free item. Now, I can only do that one once, so that's unfortunately kind of, one that's and done situation. These bottles, anything that says goes back into my storage room, which are what these say, I can put back in there. The rest of this stuff I have to discard. So the rest of this is going to go back in its particular pile or in its place away. Okay. And then my signature ingredient is gone. I'm going to put that out of the game. So I have unlocked this one that says distill your signature recipe, or I could do this one. And in fact, what I'm going to try to do, because I'm going closer, see, I don't have 3 equipment cards, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to probably end up going closer to that direction. So I'm going to do this one, in fact. Gets me 1 point. I don't get the $3 extra, but I have plenty of dollars right now. So I have accomplished that goal. Then I flip over these 2 cards right here. And now these are available, and I can accomplish in 1 round any of the goals in this area and in this area if I've accomplished. So basically, you can chain things together a little bit where you can accomplish one and then accomplish the ones right on top of it again, if you can do that all in a single round. So now it says I have to sell a spirit containing 2 or more sugar types of the same type, which isn't too bad. Unfortunately, I just did that. And sell a spirit containing 3 or more sugars of 1 or more. Now, because the way that the goal things happen, I'm evaluating these goals at this time. I just did this. So that means, as far as I can tell, that because I did 2 or more of the same type, I've just accomplished this goal this round. And so I can also check that off. All right. Now, I did not sell one of these over here. So now I have to be focused on this. But this is my active round. And I will get another point and another $1. So we have done the sell phase, and now we would age. So if I do any aging, well, actually that was part of the end of the round. I didn't do any aging over here, but aging is another mechanic where you basically don't sell anything. You will put it over here and store it. And you could do a little tasting, which would reduce some of your points and allow you to get some money. And that's another way to handle things, but I'm not going to demonstrate that here only because I didn't have the setup that way. So then finally over here, we move the market to, or we move the round down to round 4. And then I just checked for those goals and did everything I needed to. And then that's it. Then we start again. At the end of the game, you're going to score your points for the total that you've gotten throughout the game through your distillate, like I just did, plus any of your spirits you still have in your warehouse that you're aging. You're going to get some points for those, not the full points, but some of them, because you don't get the full flavor points unless you sell it. You're going to then get some for your bottle collection. So if you have bottles from specific regions that you've used, that can score you a decent amount of points. Or if you have some from different regions. Any distillery upgrades with the points marked on there based on what you've got. And then the distillery goals, which we're working at, and then money. The goals aren't used in the solo game. It's only these goals that are used. So you don't actually just get any extra goals. It's these. Which are things that you're trying to accomplish, not things you get points for. And then finally, for every $5, you get a point. And that's it. So you've got, just in general, the whole thing is you are trying to accomplish what is laid out in front of you, score a bunch of points, and like I did, get lucky enough to build a recipe that you get what you want. And you'd say, well, how do I not get what I want? Well, if I had discarded 2 of those fruits not accidentally, but if it just happened that way, I would not have been able to distill that signature recipe. I would have fallen back onto something else. And if I don't have a recipe that fits the something else, you fall back to the basics of vodka or moonshine, and they're not worth very many points, and they're not worth very much money. And so, well, the vodka moonshine actually give you a little bit of money, but they're not worth very many points. So that's kind of the default. Oops, you screwed up, or that's what you do in the beginning to kind of get things going, but you don't want to do that throughout later in the game. You want to try to get these big points and really hit it out of the mark there. So that's it. That's a full round. Let me tell you what I think of the game. So I've got to say that Distilled really strikes at a theme that I love. Okay, I'm a chemical engineer by education, so I like the idea of distilling things and mixing things together. And I also really enjoy spirits. Okay, so I like different spirits from different places, but I'm a big, I enjoy bourbon and scotch and rye and other different spirits. I really appreciate that. So this game, this theme really speaks to me. And I'm not going to lie, I am sure that is contributing to the fun that I'm having with this game. I just think it's fun to put different ingredients together, to try to distill different things, to pick some different recipes. I think that's really cool. The game itself, as you can see, is not that complicated from a mechanics standpoint. They do an outstanding job with the rule book, laying it all out in extremely detailed specifics. Really kind of writing that rule book for a person who's never played a deck builder. And this is kind of like a deck builder, except you're mostly discarding most of your hand every time. You're kind of building up what you want in your recipe and your ingredients. Whatever falls out, you get to keep from the tops and the bottoms of your distillate. But for the most part, you're using what you want, trying to get the result, and then it gets discarded. That being said, there's so much variety in the actual market itself that the choices are a lot of fun because you are trying to, pair things that are going to give you the best points with the kind of spirit you're trying to make, and it's just really cool. I think this game really shines, though, with the thought process of trying to accomplish the solo goals in that pyramid. Because it is tough to, well, first of all, sometimes you get a little lucky like I did. I mean, I blew that one goal out of the water, so I had a bunch of additional money that I could kind of go to it with it. But, that kind of thing, well, I guess it was the actual design of the spirit that helped. But that kind of decision of like, how am I going to get this kind of stuff done in this order? And they give you the swap card, which will increase the amount of points you need if you're going to use it, but it also keeps you from getting a ridiculous situation. Like that goal is just stupid. I can't get that done super early, so I might as well just shuffle or I'm going to lose. That helps you, gives you a little, just some flexibility there. It was a good design choice. But ultimately speaking, I think this is a really fun solo game that provides a lot of variety from a tactical standpoint and a little bit of strategy because you have to set your strategy up in order to accomplish those goals. It's not just tactics. I love the fact that it wasn't just a beat your own score or a deny thing, because that would have gotten old a little bit quicker. And then the only thing that would have kept you going is you're working through all these different tasting lists and all these different recipes. This is better. This is better. This is more dynamic. You don't have to worry about just, I'd say, like sometimes I've seen designers, well, they'll put a list of goals in the back. That's okay too. But this one is a lot more fun because it's dynamic and it presents an interesting kind of strategic puzzle to solve every time to try to win. The first game I played, I did not do very well at all. I was halfway to the goals and halfway through the score. It is definitely a game not of chance specifically, because you do have to be thinking and strategizing how you're going to build the recipes that are actually going to help you get to where you need to be. And those recipes, if they fail, will they fail forward in a spot that'll help me next time? And will it help me kind of get my engine ready to be able to do these higher end goals? So I think it is really cool. I think the artwork's fantastic. The game just looks fun to play. It's very easy to shuffle that distillate and get your market phase and evaluate that stuff. It's really not that difficult. The player aid that they give for the game is really nice. It tells you exactly what to do, and then you have a scoring one that tells you exactly what to do when you score, and they have the icons there. Really good job there. Keeps you from having to look things up in the rule book once you've done a good thorough read through. And they even give you in this game like a kind of a first round walkthrough book to really help you. So they did a great job there getting the players into it. I did not find that I had a lot of trouble at all after I read the rules once. Getting into it, I looked things up maybe 2 or 3 times and then I'm off to the running, and it was very easy to play. So I think I give this one a big thumbs up. If you like this kind of theme, I mean, it's a very satisfying game to play. If you're not into this kind of theme, you won't get the feel from that. You won't get the fun from that. It's still a decent medium weight solo game for sure. The scoring is there, but I do think that the theme is what is driving me to be so excited to play it. There's no doubt about it. And usually I'm not big on theme. This one though, the theme really comes through. I feel like the mechanics and the theme work hand in hand because of how you're doing the actions. It feels like that's what a person would do. They would try to make a recipe. They would try to distill it. They put the stuff in necessary, and they may or may not come out with what they want. Especially when you're aging it, the flavors, the longer you wait, the better it might get. But you don't know exactly which flavors you're going to get, and there's all these different flavors that could come out through the aging process, which adds to the spirit. I just think it's really cool. So I give it a big thumbs up, and I'm going to enjoy this for a while. Hopefully this was helpful for you if you're looking for this type of game. If you're looking for a really heavy game or a big economic simulator from a distillation standpoint or a distillery standpoint, this is not really an economic simulator. You're using the money to go right back in and buy cards in the market. It's more of a deck builder kind of Euro style game versus something you're trying to get the most money. That would be a cool game. I'd love that type of game. That's not what this is. This is a fine game in and of itself. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Whatever you decide to do in the future, I hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.